Just waiting for our city manager to return. He was just in here, so. Right. Oh, should we welcome him with a round of applause? How lovely of you to join us. Oh, water break. Okay, well, we're ready to get started, so we'll get going here. Welcome to the Wednesday, October 1st, 2025 City Council regular meeting. Call to order. We are missing Todd Arvidsson. He had an issue and could not attend. So we'll go on to 2, Pledge of Allegiance. Awesome. Y'all may be seated. So we are quickly on to number 3, presentations and proclamations. 3A is Davenport High School Theater Department presentation. So if our theater department will come up, and our theater director from the high school, Candace Ornez, she can tell you a little bit about what they're going to perform. We're going to get a sneak peek of the new musical.
Hello, and thank you for letting us come, I think for the 5th year now. This year, our musical is Legally Blonde, and we came to do a little excerpt. We'll be performing in a month, November 7th through the 9th, and we'll have some little flyers out there. We'll be posting to all the city pages, and we would love the community support of all these talented, hardworking kids who work several hours outside of school each and every week. All right, Delta News, you want to come line up right here? Yep.
Rehearsal tracks.
Dear Elle, he's a lucky guy. I'm like gonna cry. I got tears coming out of my nose. Matt Cross, he's the campus catch. You're a perfect match, cause you both got such great taste in clothes. Of course he will propose.
Dear Elle, honey, mazel tov, future's taken off. Bring that ring back and show it to me. 4 carats, a princess cut. Are you psyched or what? I just wish I could barely see when he gets down on one knee. Oh my God, you guys. Looks like Elle's gonna win the prize. If there ever was a perfect couple, this one qualifies. Oh my gosh, you guys. Oh my God, this is happening. Our own homecoming queen and king. Finally, she'll be trying on a huge engagement ring for size. Oh my God, you guys. Oh my God. Shut up, Elle. Shut up, Porter. Shut up, Indy. Oh my God. Okay, everybody inside. Good, now fall in line. And we'll start the engagement parade. Light candles in single file. Don't forget to smile. Lose the gum cake. Look like the maid. Now prepare to serenade. Shh. Oh my God, you guys. Looks like Elle's gonna win the prize. Shh.
If there ever was a perfect couple,
This one will. Oh my God! Guys, I'm serious.
Elle and Warner were meant to be. Not once ever has he hit on me.
Shut up.
They're just like that couple from Titanic. Only no one dies.
Oh my God. 2, 3, 4. Daughter of Delta New, soon to be fiancé. Now that a man chose you, your life begins today. Make him a happy home, waste on his hard-earned wage, and so he does not roam. Strive not to look your age. Still in your hour of need, let it be understood. No man can supersede our sacred bond of sisterhood. Oh my gosh, you guys, she's not here. What?
Have one more from our main couple.
I'll be on this side. Oh, wow.
Ready?
Yeah. Whoa, Elle. What's up? Doc?
Love.
Excuse me?
I put my faith in love. I followed where it led
Love led you here.
to my personal circle of hell. It has not worked out well. I wish that I were dead. Cause instead of a wedding and love, I'm flunking out of school, a total laughing stock. Someone he and his friends could just mock. So go and here's my head. Just hit it with a rock.
Wait. Go back. You came out here to follow a man. Harvard Law was just part of that plan. Man, what rich romantic planet are you from?
Malibu?
Instead of lying outside by the pool, you stalk some guy to an Ivy League school. That's the weirdest reason I have ever.
Well, why'd you come?
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Or why'd you come?
Okay. Grew up in the Roxbury slums with my mom and a series of bums, guys who showed me all the ways a man can fail. I got through law school by busting my ass, worked 2 jobs in addition to class, so forgive me for not weeping at your tail.
Excuse me, because you've got some kind of chip on your shoulder.
You know what? You're right. There's a chip on my shoulder, and it's big as a boulder. With a chance I've been given, I'm gonna be driven as hell. I'm so close I can taste it, so I'm not gonna waste it. Yeah, there's a chip on my shoulder. You might wanna get one as well.
I'm sorry, but that just sounds highly negative.
I'm just being honest. When you're not born into privilege, you gotta work twice as hard. And I want my sweatshirt back.
Thank you so much, y'all. That was a treat. What a nice way to start a council meeting.
Go back to rehearsal.
All right. Sounds good. All right, 3B, Tri-County Chamber of Commerce presentation by Executive Director Becky Babcock. Welcome, Becky.
Well, it's going to be hard to come up after that. I just wanted to take a second and introduce myself. I know I've met some of you guys in passing, so I wanted to come out and let you guys know what we're all about. We're really looking forward to partnering with the city, showcasing the community and the businesses that make it up, provide trainings, events, things that everyone can be a part of, and really add value to whatever you guys are doing, whatever that may be. That's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for being here. So now we are moving on to 3C, the Mayor's Monarch Pledge, and I'm going to come read that from the podium. And then we'll do the Hill Country Sky Month Proclamation and the Domestic Violence Awareness Month Proclamation. Let's make it a little bit closer. Okay, so the Monarch Butterfly Pledge is something that our Assistant City Secretary, Cindy Simmons, has been working on, and she's out of town right now, so I'll tell you a little bit about it. Mayors and other heads of local government are taking action to help save the monarch butterfly, whose western populations have declined by 99% and eastern populations by 90%. Through this pledge, cities are committing to create habitat for the butterfly, pollinators, and educate residents about how they can make a difference in their communities. So whereas the monarch butterfly is an iconic North American species whose multi-generational migration and metamorphosis from caterpillar to butterfly has captured the imagination of millions of Americans, and whereas the monarch butterfly, designated as the state insect in 1995, is the most recognizable butterfly in North America and flies through Texas every spring and fall on its epic migration to wintering grounds in Mexico, and whereas cities, towns, and counties have a critical role to play to help save the monarch butterfly, and every citizen of Garden Ridge can make a difference for the monarch by planting native milkweed and nectar plants to provide habitat for the monarch and pollinators in locations where people live, work, learn, play, and worship. And whereas monarch butterflies will begin their journey to central and southern Texas, traveling primarily along cities near the I-35 corridor, and the best time to observe their migration is early to mid-October, especially on warmer, sunnier days when the butterflies are most active. And whereas, on behalf of the people of Garden Ridge, who have already joined me in creating a healthy habitat for these magnificent butterflies, I am honored to lead the way by signing the National Wildlife Federation's Mayor's Monarch Pledge, and so that the monarch butterfly will once again flourish. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that I, Lisa Swint, Mayor of Garden Ridge, Texas, do hereby proclaim October 1st, 2025, in the city of Garden Ridge as Mayor's Monarch Pledge Day. So we're excited about that. And next, we can have Michelle Molina come up with Comal County Friends of the Night Sky. And I'll read aloud our Hill Country Night Sky Month proclamation and have Michelle say a few words. Whereas the aesthetic beauty and wonder of star-filled skies are the heritage of all humankind, and preserving rich historic heritage and starry night skies of Garden Ridge is important to its residents. And whereas the experience of standing beneath a star-filled night sky inspires feelings of wonder and awe, and may encourage interest in science and nature, especially among young people. And whereas the opportunity to view star-filled skies attracts tourists to our region and therefore provides an economic benefit to Garden Ridge. And whereas light pollution created by glare, light trespass, sky glow, and overlighting is wasted light that performs no function or task, as well as artificial light that goes where it's not supposed to go. And whereas light pollution wastes natural resources amounting to at least $3.3 billion per year and contributes to diminished American energy independence. And whereas the influx of people into the Texas Hill Country region and the accompanying lights pollution from area lighting fixtures has been steadily on the rise, eroding the historical vision of the night skies in many nearby areas. And whereas addressing light pollution involves making better use of outdoor lighting to direct light down to where it is needed instead of upward into the sky, putting outdoor lights on timers, and using outdoor lighting only when necessary. And whereas Hill Country communities are increasingly dedicated to the preservation of the region's night skies, as evidenced by frequent educational activities and by the increasing number of places and organizations in our region, including Comal County, Camp Bullis, San Antonio Astronomical Association, New Braunfels Astronomy Club, Guadalupe River State Park, and Comal County Friends of the Night Sky. And whereas the regional effort and the preservation and celebration of our night skies are worthy of recognition. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that I, Lisa Swint, Mayor of Garden Ridge, Texas, do hereby proclaim October 2025 in the city of Garden Ridge as Hill Country Night Sky Month.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks to you. If you'd like,
And,
you want to come up to the mic so they can hear a little
Yes.
better? Thank you.
I have these cards I placed over here. Thank you to Garden Ridge for celebrating the Night Sky Month. And these cards have a very brightly lit gas station on the back, and then the beautiful Milky Way on the front. It has our information on how to make your home and your business dark sky compliant. And I just want to say that for people to go home tonight and take a look at your house and see if your lighting at your house is useful, if it's targeted, shining down, if the color, the light, amount of light coming out is adequate, just a light where you're gonna be walking, controlled. If you don't need it on, don't have it on. And warm color, 2700 Kelvin or warmer is what we recommend. So it's kind of bad and good. So thank you all for, we're also going to have a film that's going to be showing in here this month, and we're working on the dates at this time. And that's it. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you for being here. Again, she's got her material on the table over there. Thank you. Okay, next we have Nicole Kepchek. Did I say it right? I got it right. I'm going to read a proclamation on domestic violence victims. Whereas domestic violence victims are not confined to any group or groups of people and does not discriminate based on socioeconomic status, gender, or age, and whereas domestic violence is a systemic use of physical, emotional, sexual, psychological, and economic abuse and control that violates an individual's privacy, dignity, security, and humanity, and whereas domestic violence victims are oftentimes children who suffer lifelong effects from exposure to the emotional and physical trauma of domestic violence, and whereas domestic violence victims exhibit astounding strength, courage, and resilience as they overcome significant barriers to escape domestic violence, and whereas domestic violence victims are viewed as more than a statistic, they are a family member, a neighbor, a coworker, and a friend whose torturous struggle has affected our society, making the journey of prevention essential towards ending the debilitating cycle of domestic violence, and whereas all Texans must take action to eradicate domestic violence through a committed dedication to extraordinary advocacy on behalf of victims by being their voice and raising awareness, and whereas Domestic Violence Awareness Month is a time to remember and honor victims by guiding them to safety, nurturing their healing, and securing their freedom by providing them hope through a safety net of services that include crisis shelters, child care, counseling, legal advocacy, and case management. And whereas the City of Garden Ridge encourages our cities to join the Crisis Center of Comal County, allied professionals, and domestic violence survivors in mourning the many lives lost to domestic violence, and to celebrate our unified progress that could not have been made without the strength of our connection and victim advocacy. Now therefore be it proclaimed that I, Lisa Swint, Mayor of Garden Ridge, Texas, do hereby proclaim October 2025 in the City of Garden Ridge as Domestic Violence Awareness Month. If you'd like to say some words, tell us a little bit, tell us a bit about the Crisis Center of Comal County.
Sure. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, City Council. Thank you, everyone. So last year, the Crisis Center served over 1,300 clients, and as the proclamation said, 70% of those we sheltered were children, which meant that over the course of the year, we provided 36,000 services. It's a big number. But we're excited at the Crisis Center because by the end of this year, we will hold the keys to our new 90-bed shelter, allowing us to serve more clients and make a bigger impact on this community. Over there on the table, there are invitations to our vigil. We will read the names of those that were lost in Comal and Bexar County over the past year and honor them with a candlelight walk. So we invite you to come and join us. And then I'm going to end with this final note. If you or someone you know is experiencing domestic violence or sexual assault, please reach out. We're here 24/7. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Thank you all so much for being here. Thanks. Let me fix this. Back up this. Okay, we're on to 4, citizen comment period, limited to 30 minutes total. Rules for citizen participation. The City Council welcomes citizen participation and comments at all City Council meetings. If you speak, you must follow these guidelines: respect and courtesy. Direct your comments to the entire City Council, not to an individual council member nor to the audience. Show the City Council the same respect that you would like to be shown. End your speaking time at the time allotted below. Let's see, we've got one person signed up, Anna Nunez.
Okay. Hello, thank you so much. My name is Anna Nunez. I'm a public affairs specialist for the U.S. Small Business Administration's Office of Disaster Recovery and Resilience. I'm here to share information about the Presidential Disaster Declaration issued for the Texas flooding that occurred in July. In times of disasters, the SBA helps businesses, nonprofits, organizations, homeowners, and renters with their uninsured and underinsured disaster-related losses. The city of Garden Ridge is located in Comal County, and Comal County was declared a contiguous county for the Texas Presidential Disaster Declaration and is only eligible for economic injury disaster loans. I do want to commend the Tri-City Chamber of Commerce because they work really hard, and they are working in Comal, Bexar, and Guadalupe County. Guadalupe County is a primary county, and that was recently extended, an extension of November 27th, 2025. So economic injury disaster loans are for businesses and nonprofits for your county that did not sustain physical damage, but economic damage. They couldn't make their payroll, they couldn't pay their mortgage, their rent, some sort of economic damage. They have up to $2 million that they qualify for low interest, Small Business Administration loans. You do not have to be a small business to qualify, faith-based organizations as well. So I'm here before you to respectfully request, I will follow up in writing, and what we're asking is a partnership to help share this information with your constituents via your website, through your newsletters and social media. There is no fee to apply, there is no interest for the first 12 months, and the deadline isn't until April 6th of 2026. That is next year. And I just want to reiterate very quickly that the government shutdown does not impact SBA's disaster services. Our teams will continue supporting communities, processing disaster loan application, and dispersed approved funding. Folks can call 1-800-659-2955 or log on to sba.gov/disaster. We are here to support you and help you, and thank you for this opportunity to share this information, and we ask you to please elevate that and share it with your constituents. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to number 5, consent agenda. These items may be acted on in a single motion. No separate discussion or action on these items will be held unless requested by a council member. Public comment on these items may be heard during citizens' participation. However, that does not mean the item will be considered outside the consent agenda. Anybody need to pull anything from the consent agenda? No? Can I get a motion
Motion to approve consent agenda.
and a second?
I second.
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, motion carries. Okay, we're on to 6, city manager report.
Mayor and council, I'll be brief through the reports here. I will cover our employee recognition and years of service. So I'll wait till.
Could
kick
you
it off.
speak into the mic a little bit closer, please?
Sorry, Mayor. There you go.
Oh, thank you.
We have Marissa for 10 years.
Yay.
Dwayne, 12 years.
Wow.
Kim, oh, sorry.
That's
He's on the
not
list
Kim.
next, but Stanley, 15 years. I swear Kim's coming up. 15 years.
There's Kim.
And then Manny, 17 years, Manuel. So congratulate them for their years of service. Appreciate it. On volunteer contributions, we had our water bill, 6 hours for our folks who stuffed the bills for us. We thank them. And then library had 115 related volunteer time. Obviously in the packet you have information related to community event center, building permits, citizen concern input. All of that's in the packet, so if you have any questions, please let me know. I would like to highlight under the community center updates that there's a number of recent improvements that's been going on. The new interior and exterior painting has been completed. In the coming weeks, we'll have the new ceiling fans installed in the outside. Those have been ordered, and so have the new toilets for the men and women's restrooms. And after the toilets are installed, the bathrooms will be painted. So a lot of good things. New kitchen equipment has been procured and should be delivered soon for the kitchen there. And then we did a phase 1 and phase 2 of the audio video system. That was installed in July, and then the second was done in the latter part of August. So that is complete now. So it's a whole lot better from that standpoint. So, and as I promised the mayor and council that, you know, we talked about Citizens Be Heard when people have come to Citizens Be Heard. I just wanted to follow up on some of the items. We had a resident in June, Mr. Alan Long, expressed his concerns about the intersection of Waterwood and Schoenthal. As a result, we did a traffic study, and it was warranted for a 3-way stop. So that will be brought forward in November to be approved via ordinance. And then after that, we'll get the 3-way stop out there. So just that's a follow-up from that. Sharon Stripling and raised concerns about code enforcement in June as well. And so as you know, we program funds for a code enforcement officer. That's already been posted as well. So we'll be looking for applications in the near future for that. August, we had Linda Potts report damage to the easement along Bat Cave caused by during the recent repaving. Our city engineer, Hank, has been working with the contractor on that and working to hopefully coordinate the necessary repairs. So those are some follow-ups from some of the citizens' comments over the last couple of months I want to make sure you're aware of. And then just upcoming events, we have First Friday at Raptitude, and then I'll leave it to Chief because we have National Night Out as well next week. At this point, I'll turn it over to our staff reports.
First up is Robin, Finance and HR.
Thank you, Mayor. Just like to say Happy New Year. We started our new fiscal year today, actually, and I'm so excited. We have a great budget, and we have a tax rate, and we're ready to go. So now we are going to get to start our audit season. Yay! So audit's coming. We are currently looking to fulfill positions for a court administrator. We have the part-time code enforcement officer. We are looking for 3 patrol officers or cadets. And we are also going to begin our search for a new community center manager as Kim is retiring. So that's all I have to report.
Awesome, thank you. Any questions for Robin or for Ryan?
Great job, Robin, and thank you, Ryan. We've been working on that community center for a long time, and it's finally coming to fruition, and it's looking amazing, so thank you. Kudos.
Kudos, for sure. On to C, City Secretary, monthly activity report.
Just a quick update on codification. So we did receive the organizational analysis and we reviewed that, we approved it, we sent our comments back. So that's for the structure of our code of ordinances. And so now we're waiting for general code is going through and reviewing everything and putting it all together. The next step will be city staff and general code will basically go through a collaborative chapter by chapter code review process. That'll happen in the coming weeks. It could take many weeks. We really aren't sure because we're reviewing word for word what every ordinance says. And then that ultimately will produce a draft for city council review. So that's where we are with codification. And that is all that I have.
Any questions for Marissa? Everybody's good. Then we are on to D, Police Department Monthly Activity Report. Chief?
Thank you, Mayor. So Officer Brown completed her FTO as of yesterday. So she is now out and about on her own starting today. We have Officer Forehand close to graduating his FTO, and then we've got Cadet Carney is in phase 5, so she's only got about 3.5 weeks left of the academy, and then we'll have her here starting her FTO program. Everything else is going well. We're still accepting applications, doing recruiting. Don't forget, next week, next Tuesday is National Night Out. So as of this afternoon, we have 7 block parties registered. We need some more. Also, if any of the council members are wanting to ride out with the officers and visit the parties, you need to let me know so we can get this stuff coordinated. We should have slot room for 4 in cars that are going, myself and Chief Bellinger and 2 patrol officers. The others are already 2-man cars. But if anybody wants to do that, let me know. We'll get that scheduled, organized, so we know when to meet. And then last but not least, our casino for the GRC PAA casino fundraiser on the 18th of October. We did just sell out of tables, so all the tables are sold, but there are a few, only about 9 or 10 individual seats left. So if anybody wants to go, get online and get those tickets before they're gone. There's not much room left. That's all I've got, ma'am.
Thank you, and great job to the whole department on the mail thieves incident.
That's going to take a little while to sort out.
Yes, I bet it will.
We've got about 15 boxes of mail to go through that we have to catalog
Piece
every
by piece, I've heard,
Yes.
yes. Any questions for Chief? Okay, then we are on to Public Works. Stephen?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. For the month of September, Public Works completed 338 work orders. Everything's included in the report. I'd like to highlight that dumpsters are back again in October, and we have 4 dogs ready for adoption and 3 cats. That would conclude the Public Works portion of the report.
Okay, on to water.
Water, we pumped 56.79 acre feet out of the Edwards with a year-to-date total of 227.64 acre feet. All bacterial samples and distribution samples came back good. Water loss was 2.9%. For the Utilities Department monthly activity report, the major thing of that month was our utilities crew installed a 12-inch water main on 2252 to help isolate any type of breaks and whatnot we have down there to make it quicker to be able to get water off due to the high pressure. And a few pictures up there we took of them dropping in probably about a 600-pound valve cut into the 12-inch main. And for employee training and certifications, Dwayne Scugino passed the B groundwater water state test and now holds a Class B groundwater operator's license. That's all I have for the water department.
Any questions for Stephen on Public Works or water?
I just wanted to state for the record that we have 3 council members who have not adopted a dog yet. Our 3 newest council members have not adopted a dog. I got wrangled into this last year, so it's your turn now.
Right.
And a city manager who has not either, so just putting that on record.
Kendra's at her pet limit, so we're going to have to find some other happy families. It's like Ryan's going to growl over there, so we don't leave him alone. Okay, we are on to 8, City Commission reports, recommendations, possible action. The Planning and Zoning Commission did not meet in September. Oh, I'm sorry. F, Library. Sorry, Linda.
That's okay.
Kelly distracted me with the dog talk.
I understand completely. Well, it's October. October means pumpkin spice lattes and trunk or treat. We're always excited to do trunk or treat. The library kind of takes the lead on this, but we all pitch in and get a lot of help with the police department and GRCPAA and Public Works. Everybody really does a great job. We are needing trunks as usual, and I think it's a law maybe that all of you have to do a trunk for us. All you have to do is decorate your trunk and have lots of candy to give out. It's really a lot of fun because you'll just get your fill of cuteness with those little kids, and it'll remind you of those fun days when you ran around doing trick or treat. On another note, the library did receive confirmation that we have been accredited again, and I put that in your packet. And lastly, as I was completing my report for you all, I noticed how easy it was to add up all the classes and attendances that we had this year. 313 classes or programs. We had a total of 5,539 attendees, which means that we had 1,265 more people served this year than last. So we saved people a lot of money. We just believe we made people's lives better with information and entertainment. So we believe that's not bad for 2 people. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Linda. It's great for 2 people. It's amazing. Any questions for Linda? Hopefully some of us will have some trunks out there. I've been waiting for mine to age out of trick-or-treating with me, but I'm not sure. They still want me to go, and they're 13, so we'll see.
Have they outgrown their dinosaur costumes yet?
Whoever outgrows the dinosaur costume.
Well, then they may never have outgrown the whole thing.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Thank you. So on to 8. Like I said, City Commission reports, planning and zoning. Uh-oh, what now? Oh, am I reading this all wrong? Just 2 seconds ago, I thought, well, I was on track this agenda, but I'm not. Number 7, city engineer projects status reports. Hi, Hank.
Good evening. I'll be quick. I didn't have too much to add to the report. The city manager did pretty well with the additions that I had. I did want to mention that we will be removing the FM 2252 TxDOT project and the Back Cave Road from this list next council meeting because those are either complete or close to complete with a closeout process. So those are going well and complete. With that, I can answer any questions you might have on any of the projects on the list.
Any questions? No, we're good.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Mayor and council, real quick, so just so you know, we got the saws as indicated there. Went to the saws board and they've already executed the agreement for saws standpoint, so we're ready to go from that standpoint with moving forward with it. So it's all been executed on both sides. Correct, Hank?
Yes, we're just waiting on the waterline extension plans for the Schoenthal tract. So with that, we're still proceeding. We just need to work through that connection place before we can finalize the preliminary plans.
Great, sounds good. Now is it time for number 8, City Commission reports, recommendations, possible actions. Planning and the Zoning Commission did not meet in September. The Water Commission did. Chairman Pohl, you'd like to come forward? So 8B, Water Commission is ordinance number 61, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Garden Ridge, Texas, establishing the drought management plan for the City of Garden Ridge, establishing trigger conditions and demand reduction measures providing a variance procedure, providing a penalty for violations of this ordinance, providing a cumulative and saving clause, providing for severability, and declaring an effective date. So we're here to get a recommendation from Chairman Pohl.
Thank you, Mayor, City Council members. The Water Commission at its last meeting conducted a public hearing on Ordinance 61, made some final document changes, and now recommends to the City Council adoption of the revised Ordinance 61 Drought Management Plan. And really, I'm up here to answer any of your questions. I've provided hopefully a sufficient summary of the changes we made, along with you have the draft ordinance. So I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Any questions? Just to note that any amendments to a drought management plan are required to have a public hearing. So if we want any input or changes, now is the time to do it. Any insight into the plan, anything?
No, I have no question. Just wanted to add, of all the changes that were made, what do you think was the most important one that was based on the meeting with the public on this?
I think the most important one was the addition of the Appendix B, that it was clear from the many variance requests that we had received, as well as just the ongoing nature of our drought conditions, was that we needed to provide a way for people to replace landscaping. I mean, we're into a third or fourth year period, and do it in a way that controlled water usage and also streamlined it, because the variance process can take several months. So that was sort of the framework that this was hung on. As it says here, we drew on other resources. I met with the Conservation Department at New Braunfels, looked at what SAWS has done, and they basically have programs that are very close to this, which is a application, in many cases an online application, review by the city manager or a designee, and then the person can proceed during the allowable months, which is basically fall through winter, and increase usage of their automatic sprinkling system, which is really the only way you can water in reasonably a large amount of landscaping. Okay.
Thanks, Bill. Appreciate that about Appendix B, and I think that's super important, being responsive to some of the residents. I know we've seen a lot of those variance requests in the last year. I did have one question about the Appendix A. It talks about adjustment of the watering hours. Can you clarify what was adjusted on the watering hours for everyone?
Sure.
And I'm pretty sure the watering hours still don't match SAWS, if that's right.
Without having that backup material, I don't. They vary somewhat, maybe hour to hour. Generally, the windows are fairly similar. The Appendix A in the drought, and I went ahead and, for my own notes, highlighted this. For example, in Stage 1, the old hours were 12 a.m. to 10 a.m., 8 p.m. to 12 a.m. For example, we backed it down to 6 p.m. in the evening, which was a request that kind of came up through some of these variance hearings that we had, to give people, this is really more for portable sprinkler use. Irrigation systems you can kind of set where you want, but if you are setting out a portable sprinkler, to have a little bit bigger window to do it. Stage 2, the current ordinance is 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. We gave an additional hour in the morning, which was, again, a sort of a citizen request. We kept the evening hours the same. And also made small adjustments with watering with a handheld hose bucket, drip irrigation system or soaker hose. Basically added a couple hours on either end of the window. And this was done in discussion with Steve to make sure that the system could support this. So it was really a compromise in terms of what the system can support, versus offering residents an opportunity to have a little bit broader watering window, but yet not water during the hot times of the day, which we want to avoid. Stage 3, similarly, just those end up being smaller adjustments of 1 hour in a couple cases. So we basically just expanded the windows slightly. if I answered your question.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. And I think the last thing to mention about both the changes to Appendix A and B, just want to make sure we get the word out to all the residents also so that they can make use of these things.
Yeah, exactly. In fact, at one point I retained a flyer, for example, that New Braunfels does, which is just this little 4-color fold-out flyer of the stages. And now that we've sort of streamlined it in the ordinance, we might be able to follow that up, or even, with an envelope stuff or with a water bill. And I'm glad to work with the city on doing that.
Thank you. That's a great overview of some of the changes. So do we need consensus? It says consensus and set a date for public hearing. What do we need to do here?
So if you don't have any concerns, issues, and you don't want to send it back to the Water Commission,
Okay.
then you would just set a date for the public hearing, which would be next month's council meeting.
Okay. Everybody ready to move forward? We've got consensus? Okay, we'll get it on the next council meeting. So we have another ordinance, ordinance number 2, ordinance number 159, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Garden Ridge, Texas, establishing landscape and irrigation system requirements for residential and commercial properties in the City of Garden Ridge for the purpose of water conservation, providing a variance procedure, providing a penalty for violations of this ordinance, providing for severability, and declaring an effective date. So 2.1 is receive recommendation. Again, Chairman Pohl.
Thank you. The Water Commission completed its revisions to this. There was no public hearing for this ordinance, and recommends to the City Council adoption of the revised ordinance 159, which deals with landscape and irrigation system requirements. I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Any questions about this ordinance number 159? Everybody's good? Thank you.
The only thing I just wanted to add, Mayor, was, again, kind of going back to once this ordinance is updated, the way it's going to be educated to the community so they're aware of any changes that are made would be the same way with what we're going to do with the first one would be through newsletter, I guess, through the newsletter or posting on the Garden Ridge City website or on these changes that we're looking at? Is that how we're looking at doing that, or?
I would think that's completely appropriate, particularly because this one, with the term xeriscaping, everybody sort of knows what it is, but how do you do it? Where are the resources? The ordinance lists some resources, but this would be an ideal situation that if you're looking to do this and complying with the new ordinance, there's Texas universities, Comal County gardening clubs are great resources for what kind of plants you use. In fact, the library has sponsored some really great sessions that I attended to kind of get myself up to speed on some of this. And so I think that's an appropriate way to do it.
And Bill, I just had one more follow-up.
Yeah.
Was any of these changes made in consideration with some of the HOA requirements around the neighborhood? Or, and I know it doesn't have to be, but I was just curious if it was.
No, not really. In preparation and looking at this, the way the law reads is an HOA can have something more restrictive, and if there's a conflict, then the ordinance of the city proceeds it. I'm not aware in any instances where this has been, there's been a conflict. The primary one has been HOAs wanting lawns to be maintained, but the resident can't water. Well, there's been recent legislation that's clarified that. They can't mandate it.
I appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
Yep.
Thank you, Bill. Okay, this one we do need to take action on. Can I get a motion?
Okay, I'll do it. I got a motion to approve ordinance number 159, ordinance of the City Council, City of Garden Ridge, Texas, establishing landscape and irrigation system requirements for residential and commercial properties in the City of Garden Ridge for the purpose of water conservation, providing a variance procedure, providing a penalty for violations of this ordinance, providing for severability, and declaring an effective date.
Can I get a second?
I second.
Any further discussion? All right, can I give a vote? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? None. The ayes have it, motion carries. And we still need a monthly activity report.
Yes. Probably the other remaining item was that the commission has been discussing with the city the development of a wastewater ordinance, and that's in process, and we'll continue to have that on our agenda, and our next meeting will be in November. And then Commissioners Pohl and Dorsey were reappointed to terms as chairman and vice chairman at our last meeting.
Awesome, thank you. Thank you for all the work y'all put into these
Thank you, Mayor.
ordinances.
Thank you.
Okay, on to 9, approval and authorizations. 9A, interview panel recommendation for appointment to Water Commission. Kicking that over to Ryan.
Mayor and Council, there was one opening on the Water Commission, and the mayor and Chairman Pohl and I served as the panel to interview 2 candidates, and in our agreement is to, from that standpoint, from a panel standpoint, is to appoint Brian Strickland to that opening. I'll let Chairman Pohl elaborate, and then Mr. Strickland is here in case you have any questions on why he wants to serve and his background as well.
Come back up.
Thank you again. No, the interview process, I think, very well, and I'd like to take at this moment to introduce Brian Strickland and ask him to come up to the,
Absolutely.
to the podium.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the interview process, and thanks for the great conversations on water. I look forward to serving with this this board and the community and the council, so really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. We had 2 great candidates, but Brian really has some wonderfully specific water experience that I think will really contribute to our Water Commission. So we're excited to have you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mayor.
Thank you.
Any questions for me?
Any questions?
Thank you. Mayor's right. I just want to echo off what she's saying. Looking at your background, your bio, yeah, you have a lot of experience in this field, and we thank you for volunteering your time for this. So thank you.
More than happy to serve. Thank you.
Okay. Can I get a motion?
Make a motion to appoint Brian Strickland to the Water Commission, Place 5, with the term expiring September 30th, 2027.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, motion carries. Thank you. We are on to 9B, bid award for municipal ground storage tank rehabilitation project. And again, we've got city manager and city engineer on this one.
Mayor and Council, I'll let Hank address this one. This was the bid for the ground storage tank rehabilitation. I believe we got 6 bids. 7 bids, and so Hank and his team went through the bids, and the lowest bid is recommended to NG Painting LP. I'll let Hank elaborate on that. Go ahead, Hank. Sorry.
Yes, so the bids ranged anywhere between our low bid of, I believe, it was $169,000 all the way up to $314,000. So we vetted the lowest bidder, and they had done a lot of great work around the area. We saw no reason why they wouldn't do great on this, and it came well recommended from those that we checked with. So we recommend NG Painting as well.
And just to point out, Mayor and Council, that's a budget saving of about $34,474.
We always like to see that. Any questions for Hank or for Ryan?
Thank you.
Awesome. Can we get a motion?
All right, I'll make a motion to award the contract for the municipal ground storage tank rehabilitation project to the apparent low bidder submitted by NG Painting LP for the amount of $169,000.
Great. Can I get a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? No? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. The ayes have it, motion carries. Okay, on to 9C, Texas Municipal League TML Region 7 Director Election. Ryan?
Mayor and council, this is for the TML Region 7. There's two candidates, essentially two elected officials from two different cities vying for this position. In years past, it could just be done by ballot and sent to TML. Now it has to be consensus by the governing body who to select. And so you have two candidates there, a council member from Live Oak and a council member from Cibolo.
Y'all had a chance to look at the resumes? Any discussion? Any ideas? What do you think? Ryan and I talked about this just a little bit, and there's both excellent candidates, and it's hard to distinguish between one and the other. We know Ed is the current TML president for Region 7, and Norma is with Cibolo, who is, you know, a city that we partner with more often. So, I mean, you could take a couple different approaches to this.
Yeah, Ed has a ton of experience. I mean, he's kind of the go-to for any questions and answers. So, I mean, he's got that going for him, so.
Any other thoughts or input?
I'm not too sure if the candidates have expressed, I'm sure I know why he's probably wanting to run again because he's been doing it for a while, but did we ever know why Norma decided to throw her name in the hat this time to run against him? Did she, is that, is there like a reason why, or just curious? Is there just?
I don't.
No, just didn't know. If, okay.
No, I don't know.
I know, and you make a good point. I mean, I know that they're both very qualified, and I appreciate all the things that Ed's done. He's done a great job, but I do know what you're saying about that she's in a partnering city that's right next to us that we do a lot of things together with. So I do think about that, what you're saying as well. So, because this is a very difficult decision, I'm not going to lie to y'all. Both of them are very, very qualified and would be great in this position. So that's just my thought on that. So
Okay.
thank
Kendra?
you. I've done a little research and talked to a few people. Norma seems like she is a great worker and has a lot of experience, but my thought process is with Ed, if it's going right and everything is working right, why change it?
Anybody else? Jim? Would somebody like to make a motion for one or the other?
Well, I just wanted to say one more thing, and I'm in agreement with Brian. I mean, Cibolo, we do partner with them on a lot more projects, right? So it is a tough decision because, we're more aligned with Cibolo on things, but Ed has the most experience, and so I'm torn, to be honest with you.
Right. I hate that we have to do this in public, too. It used to be that was done at the regional meetings.
I know,
Or the
especially when you know both and
conference
like
meetings.
both of them.
I
That's
know.
very hard.
It's
so.
hard. They're both great people.
So, and I wanted to ask y'all, I mean, if you could educate us on this, does this council have, like, is it one vote compared to everybody in the area, or are we actually determining who is going to be in this position? Do you know what I'm saying? Is there are we getting like a vote?
We get one vote.
Right, one vote and it's tallied towards the total.
Correct.
Okay, so this, even though we're making a recommendation and we're voting for somebody, doesn't necessarily mean, right, that we're making okay, that's what I wanted to ask. But of
Correct.
course, we have to be majority for who we're going to pick.
Right.
Gotcha.
Ryan, do you have any insight, inputs?
No, that obviously just, it's changed and it used to not be this way.
Yep.
But it's one vote from one municipality for this region as Region 7, so, Cibolo is a regional, let's say regional partner. They're all regional partners, but from a geographic standpoint, Cibolo's closer, and you never know when we might need, to partner with them on a project or assistance from that standpoint, so, but I like them both.
Yeah, I know. Tough. Very tough. So what are we thinking? Anybody got a motion? Sounds like things are leaning towards Cibolo. Seeing some heads nod. Somebody just got to push that button.
Okay, I'll push it.
Okay.
I'd like to recommend, make a motion to nominate Norma Sanchez-Stevens from Cibolo for the for the Texas Municipal League Region 7 Director election.
Can I get a second?
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? None. So the ayes have it, motion carries. Thanks, y'all. I know that's tough. So we are on to D, nominations for Comal Appraisal District Board of Directors election. Ryan, you want to explain this one?
Mayor and Council, I don't have a lot of familiarity, being new to this county for this process, nor do I know the two candidates who are being reappointed either. So I don't have familiarity with them, but I know that as a council, as a governing body, that we get to select, is it two, Marissa, or is it just one? Or both?
I mean, I don't think they put a limit on how many people you can nominate, but I've only ever heard of the city nominating one person 1 year and seeing that they only got the 27 votes that are allocated to Garden Ridge. We haven't done it since. Because Comal County and Comal ISD predominantly have the spread of votes when it comes to actually voting, as you can see on the screen. We have 27 out of 5,000.
We go through this every year, knowing that our
Yes.
27 votes aren't going to amount to a hill of beans against Comal ISD and the county. So, I mean, the option is not to nominate anybody.
I could go either way.
Yeah, so this is asking all of the cities or the entities that are involved in voting in the appraisal district. They do this every year. They ask if each entity has a candidate that they want to nominate. You're not voting on anybody that you see on this.
Right.
This isn't the ballot. The ballot will come to you likely next month. This is just deciding on whether this council wants to nominate somebody from Garden Ridge to put on the ballot. Does that make sense?
Thank you for that clarification, yeah. So anybody we want to nominate? No, no, that's always the response, no. So if not making a nomination, we just need to get consensus that we are not doing that? Are we all agreeing that we're not nominating anybody? No nominations? Okay, let's move on from that one. 9E, City of Garden Ridge Facility Naming Policy. Ryan?
Mayor and council, council have had discussions with the mayor about how we come about naming a facility or some amenity of the city. And so I thought it was a point to put together a facility naming policy so that we actually have sort of, you know, what the process is. If you wanted to name any type of, you know, building or, you know, say we get another park or something within the park, those kind of things, that this has outlined a sort of criteria and approval process. So it's just not done sort of arbitrarily by myself as city manager, and wanted to make sure that the council has input, feedback, and then final approval moving forward. So this is just essentially provides a structure, process, and framework for anyone that wants to move forward with a naming policy as it relates to something within the city organization. It didn't exist, so I thought it was good to get something in place. We looked at a number of cities and came up with sort of a simple process here. I ran it through Dan as our city attorney as far as what this process looks like. And so tonight it's up for discussion and action by you all as council. And so In the future, if we have someone who wants to name something after somebody, I understand that there might be that in the pipeline or was promised to someone, but it's better to have a policy in place in order to move forward before we, have council take any type of action. So that we have the specifics of this policy outlined, criteria, and then how the final approval process works. So that's all outlined in this policy here.
I think it's great. We really need these guidelines in place. Any questions, discussion, questions from Ryan?
Yeah, some cities had a little more elaborate, like an application process, but this is sort of pretty straightforward as far as, the process itself, so.
Yeah, so my question on this, I think it's a great idea. So how would the process work? So if there's a recommendation to name one of these items we're discussing, it would come before council it would go before the public to provide input, and then it gets put on the agenda to talk about, or would it be we talk about it and then have a open forum or something for the public and then come back, is what I'm asking on that.
No, I think here the final approval is just placed on the council agenda for consideration, and just making sure, like, I would review to make sure it meets all the guidelines and criteria that's outlined in the policy, and then place it on the council agenda saying that it's met the policy. It's basically up to council if they want to move forward with naming something after somebody in the future.
And I guess at that same council meeting is when you have people come in before, for the public to give their input on it as well, right? Okay.
And some cities had like panels or committees and application process, but like, in speaking with Dan, we just talked about this pretty straightforward, that it's something that somebody could request to me as city manager. We sort of vet it out, make sure it meets policy, and then we put it in front of y'all for final approval. Correct, Dan?
Any questions?
Just one quick question. So is there anything that was driving this, or you just noticed there's a gap in policy?
My understanding, there was a request made by a family that was said that they were, I guess it was sort of approved a couple years ago, or a few years ago, that they were promised.
It was during the 50th anniversary celebration.
That they were promised that something specific in the park was to be named after the family, and I guess it never transpired. But then, in talking to the mayor, I said, it's sort of a gap in policy too. I wanted to make sure this policy is established before we bring that forward, or any other items in the future. But yeah, so two-part, gap in policy, and then there was a promise to a family years ago about it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and just to note, again, there is a process here where somebody would submit in writing the request to the city manager, and the staff and the city manager will research and vet that request, just so nobody's, there's not going to come in front of us a request that would not be appropriate or viable. The requests that will come to us will have information and recommendations, and then it'll come to council for final consideration. So I'm real happy to have a process in place. Any further any discussion? Can we get a motion?
I move to adopt the City of Garden Ridge facility naming policy.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? No? All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? None. The ayes have it. Motion carries. So on to 9F, discussion of possible amendments to ordinance number 168 related to the use of golf carts. So Ryan?
Mayor and Council, I know that we had this on the agenda last month. We spoke about sort of the good, the bad regulations, those by Chief. I know Councilman Reyes wasn't here, so we put it back on the agenda to see if he had any questions. And then, Chief, if there's any updates you might have, any more research. But I know, as we talked about bringing this back at some point for potential adoption once we work a little closer to getting the municipal codes done for the ordinances. So mainly just to see if council had any more questions for the chief, And then again, because Councilman Reyes wasn't at last meeting as well, if he had any specific questions. So if not, then we will bring this back at some point. I know that we had talked with Chief and even Dan about how some cities put regulations and permit the process as well. So that's something that council's gonna have to determine at some point as well. How much do we want to sort of put a regulation, a permit process, and them coming here to City Hall for the use of a golf cart? So.
Yes, thank you, Ryan, I appreciate that. So, Chief, I had a question. So, talking to some constituents about the golf cart. So let's say, scenario speaking wise, you see a 14-year-old operating one of these golf carts. You obviously can tell, and upon further identification, they're 14. What's going to be the next step in the department? Is the department going to obviously cite the parent and tow the golf cart, or try to find a way to get the golf cart back to the owner? These are kind of things I was just curious how that would play out if this ordinance was enacted and we have somebody that's underage operating a golf cart.
Normally, the vehicle will be impounded.
Okay.
That would be the normal process.
Would the parent or somebody be issued a citation?
Yes, the
parent
parents would be
right?
issued for
A Class
allowing
C
an
ticket?
unlicensed driver to operate, just like a regular motor vehicle.
Okay. What is your, I don't know if maybe you covered this last month when I was in here, but I know I'd wanted to ask you, what is your recommendation as the chief of this police department in this city? What is your recommendation on this? Because I have to tell you, I have talked to constituents, and it's kind of been a back and forth on this policy, and I really want to get what you think about it as well.
Well, we discussed that in length at the last meeting.
You can just be concise. I know. I'm sorry.
It's going to be a slippery slope. And just to put a little more, we discussed it, and we even talked about Bat Cave being a potential issue. But since we don't own all of Bat Cave, we can't restrict golf carts on the part of Bat Cave that belongs to the county. I reached out to the county and talked to a couple administrators over there, and counties don't do ordinances like cities. They have to invoke orders through Commissioner's Court. And based on the feeling I got from those that I spoke to, they would not consider adopting a rule that would restrict golf carts on that one section of Bat Cave that belongs to the county, because everywhere else in the county, they allow it as per state law. So that is something else that needs to be brought. That's what I was going to bring back and let y'all know today. So you could restrict it on the city's portion of Bat Cave Road, but you couldn't restrict it on the county's portion of Bat Cave Road, which adds just more confusion to all of where you can and cannot operate golf carts. It can be done. Of course it can be done. I just think it's going to be a very contentious subject. There's going to be people out there that are going to see somebody else doing it, and instead of looking into the rules and what's allowed, they're just going to say, well, they do it, I can do it. And there's going to be enforcement action that's going to be necessary from the police department.
I had asked this the last time I think we had our performer legal. I was going to ask you, is the city going to be liable for anything?
Sorry, Brian, can you speak a little in the microphone?
Sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you. I was going to ask, I had asked the last attorney we had, and I don't know if we ever got an answer on this, but could the city be liable if we do this with an ordinance, and if something were to happen like an accident or a fatality involving a golf cart, could the city be liable for this?
The city is always has the opportunity or the chance, if you will, to be liable. I hate to tell you that, but that's just as matter of fact as I can be. Anything of course, there is governmental immunity that we can defend it, but there's always that possibility with these lawyers to get sued over something senseless. We see it every day. But so yes, there's a possibility, a slim one, but still a possibility.
Yeah, I think it's good for us to know that there's a possibility, because I don't think I ever got that answer, or maybe it was the same thing as what you're saying, but I don't remember.
And Councilman, I will tell you, and we discussed it last month, this is all over the place. There are some that have the police that actually do the certification, and then permitting. Then Cuero, right? Cuero does self-authentication. So I could just pull up in my little golf cart and say, well, I have the lights on there, I have everything on there, and hand it over, and then I'm done. But it's all over the place, and this is something that does not need to be rushed into. This is something that y'all need to take your time, go do this with your eyes wide open. And there's a lot of examples, and I've got a couple other cities I'm helping do this now, but you've got to go into it with your eyes wide open, because if you don't, you'll be disappointed and heartbroken at some point. And you still may be disappointed and heartbroken at some point.
That's what I wanted to hear, and I wanted to know, so I really appreciate that feedback, so
Yeah.
thank
So
you.
just, like I say, just take your time with this, because the chief's right. This is gonna be contentious. Some people are gonna love it, and other people's are not gonna like it. And there's even an ordinance that I'm working on right now that they actually have to be a licensed driver to even, so the 14-year-old would be in deep trouble. So it's all over the place.
Yeah, Mayor and Council, I just think, like Dan says, we need to take our time. I think something maybe we can bring back in a couple months after we've done some further research among staff, among Dan, to figure out what sort of that threshold is if we're going to move forward with golf carts. How much do we want to regulate, those kind of things, if you all do want to move forward with this. So I think we have some time, since we'll move into November, December, and maybe by early spring, if you all move forward, we can have that in place for golf carts. So
I was going to say too that I think Councilman Arvidsson said too, was this something we were going to look at, Mayor, as an opportunity for the community to kind of have their input on it as well? I think he had mentioned that last time. That would give us some time for that, so.
Right, we have had a couple of meetings with citizen comments. Last time we had 4 or 5 comments in regards to golf carts, so I think the word is out there.
And I think we could workshop this, have public hearings, and then y'all could come back with a final determination at that. Okay.
So a couple questions. Some of the cities you worked with, have they ever put it to a vote? A citywide vote?
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, they're active in everything.
But you know what I mean, right? I mean, like a resident, like where residents actually
no,
vote.
No, it's always been council that has decided. It's not, I mean, of course, they do workshops, they give the citizens an opportunity to come forward and talk, but for the most part, city council makes the call.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And Chief, last meeting you had mentioned that if there was a possibility, if there was an underage, you guys would probably try to call the parent, and then if not, you guys would.
And that's going to depend on how long the ordinance has been in effect, the time of day, the circumstances.
Which should be in the plan
that sort
too,
of
right?
thing. There may be some circumstances where we can call if it's close enough and somebody can get there. It's the same thing we do similar to a motor vehicle. When we stop a regular motor vehicle and somebody is not licensed on location and they're not the owner, we can allow the owner, if they can get there within a reasonable amount of time, which is usually about 20 minutes, then we have the opportunity to release it. Otherwise, it gets impounded and towed. We can't stay out there and babysit the vehicles
Right.
and have them on the side of the road.
Right, yeah, you got more work to do, so. The other thing, is there a way to talk to the county to see if, I don't know if this would be at our expense or if we're allowed to do it on the county part of the road, but maybe have, pedestrian crossing / or golf cart crossing or whatever signs. I mean, I'm thinking, like Wildwind, right? Like I said the last meeting, safety has to be paramount, right? And there are a lot of people that run that 4-way stop. A lot of people. I could sit there for 10 minutes and see 10 people run through that easily of 15 cars. And so, my kids just running out of Wildwind, down to the park, I'm a little bit apprehensive. I've almost been run over jogging across. Yeah, I do jog sometimes, very little. But literally, I've almost been run over with my dog right there on that intersection. The person stopped and saw me, and then went and almost ran us over. Huh? Well, I don't know. That's what I'm wondering if there's, maybe if you got more signs like, hey, pedestrian crossing, or, maybe some people are just seeing, hey, that's a county road. They don't think.
I don't know. I don't know what the county. I don't know if they would be receptive to any of that or not.
Right. But you've been in contact with them. I mean, I can contact them if you want me to and talk to them about it. But I mean, I know
either way. I mean, I'd have to go. More than likely, it would have to start with the engineering department, because they're the ones that would be required to erect and install anything. And they when I had, for instance, when I had the signs put up for no through truck traffic at Bat Cave in 2252 and then Bat Cave in 3009, since those are county roads, I had to go to the engineer department, and then they had to fill out paperwork, and we had to sign that, and it had to be submitted to, I don't know if they do it through Commissioner's Court or whoever they have their process through, before that would even be considered. And
Gotcha.
Then they have regulations that they are going to require in order for that to be implemented. So, and I have no idea what that's going to be. They do that on a countywide basis.
So it's something we'd have to, after the fact, apply for, basically, right? I mean, that's,
I would assume so, yes.
Okay. That's all I have today.
Just a couple of things. Brian, I don't know if you had a chance to watch the last council meeting. We talked a lot about the need to educate our citizens and that there would be a very sharp learning curve, so we recognize that there would be issues, right off the bat, and we'd have to address those and make sure everybody was well informed. The other thing, while I'm sitting here thinking about it, I'm curious if we can look at some other cities, and figure out, get an idea of what what the nature and number of their citations are, so we could maybe see what
I've already contacted a couple, and unfortunately, because it falls under most of it's under transportation code. Most of the databases, we use, for instance, Brazos, they're not able to distinguish between golf cart citations and other motor vehicle citations. So they have not been able to pull numbers for me on that sort of thing.
Okay.
Unless somebody's got another database or some other way. I don't know if anybody else in the state, I'm not aware of anybody that maintains that type of record that is searchable under that criteria.
Okay, good to know. So any other comments? I think we keep talking about it, doing some more research.
Yeah. Well, and since Brian wasn't last meeting, I mean, the day that I put my name in for council, it's probably 50 to 1 of people that I've talked to that are for it versus against it, and so we've got to do something. We've got to make a decision on this, and yeah, we don't want to rush into it, but at the same time, I don't think taking a half year is. I mean, taking a half year to come up with a plan for it, I don't know, because we can, if my opinion has always been, if Cibolo and New Braunfels can make it happen, our little town can make it happen if our citizens, our residents truly want it. So, but like I said, safety paramount, though.
Absolutely. Okay, we will get back to this another council meeting. On to 9G, agenda format and structure. Ryan?
Mayor and council, I've kind of put some notes here. The purpose, as I've indicated here in the agenda item summary, but is to gauge the council in discussion about the current structure of the city council meeting agendas and to evaluate the opportunity for maybe streamlining the format to improve efficiency, clarity, and public engagement, while maintaining that transparency and effectiveness. Our current framework has 2 opportunities for public comment. Obviously, consent, action items, staff reports, commissioner reports, project updates, future items for city council. While this structure is comprehensive, it often results in, such what we call maybe lengthy meetings and may benefit from refinement a little bit. In looking at this, I have in front of y'all is sort of what the current agenda looks like tonight, and then I've done some redlining and then some additional language. But I think, revising the structure of the agenda would help with, clarity and flow, and then some additional language. But I think, revising the structure of the agenda would help with, clarity and flow, and then some additional language. But I think, revising the structure of the agenda would help with, clarity and flow, and then some additional language. But I think, revising the structure of the agenda would help with, clarity and flow, and then some additional language. But I think, revising the structure of the agenda would help with, clarity and flow, and then some additional language. But I think, revising the structure of the agenda would help with, clarity and flow, and then some additional language. But I think, revising the structure of the agenda would help with, clarity and flow, and then some additional language. But I think, revising the structure of the agenda would help with, clarity and flow, and then some additional language. But I think, revising the structure of the agenda would help with, clarity and flow, and then some additional language. But I think, revising the structure of the agenda would help with, clarity and flow, and then some additional language. But I think, revis improve the quality of public engagement, reduce the overall length of meetings, and then maintain transparency through the decision-making process. I know I brought this topic initially to council in July, and since then, I wanted to have a full council, and Council Arvison is out tonight. So what I wanted to do is go through this red line document here real quick. But a little background is the mayor and I reviewed agendas from over a dozen area cities, and we tried to stay in this area framework of similar sized cities as well, to look at how they conduct their business in an agenda format from that standpoint. And give us a little insight how other municipalities structure their city council meetings. Based on their review, prepared this draft with red line changes. So I can walk you through it real quick. Under citizens' comments there, I know that's been sort of a question to residents who's come up about your availability to answer, respond, or engage, which is what you can't because it's not actually on the agenda. So proposing some language that city council may not discuss any presented issue nor take any action on the issue, and then topics of operational concern shall be directed to the city manager from that standpoint. So that's sort of just a quick modification. If you turn to the next page, on page 2, is sort of doing a more comprehensive, like a city manager report, kind of what I just went through a little bit tonight. And then if there's questions you may have from staff that's here, then you can ask them directly, because all the information is in the packet from that standpoint. I might ask Chief or Linda that, if there's a certain event, to elaborate on that event upcoming in the month that's helpful for residents and citizens to be aware of, then that's something we would do. But kind of consolidating that in the city manager report, I will be putting together a report to you all that covers a lot of things about the organization and update on projects that more than likely I'll put in the packet. There's some things in my report I may not put in the packet because it might be some personnel or something related to litigation from that standpoint. But I'll try to work to put my report in there like all the other departments do, and it'll be a supplement to the report, so you have all the information you need in the packet before the meeting. As I move forward, excuse me, I'm changing a little bit to city engineer, just putting project report. So Hank, as our city engineer, can come and talk about projects in there. On the citizen reports, recommendation, possible action, city commission. In a lot of cities, there's not actually a standalone agenda item that allows for a commission or chairman to come to those meetings. I know that's been sort of the norm here. And when in the past, like my last city and some other cities I'm aware of, the chairmans come, to talk about action that the body has taken from that standpoint, or to give like recommendation on, like Chairman Pohl did tonight on the ordinances. So that's something, and you see I redlined the ordinances because that should actually be under new business. If you look, I placed that under new business there, where anything that's a discussion, consideration, and action would fall under that section of the agenda. So it's just, again, as you look through like 9.1, 9.2, so it's just giving a numbering to it based on the agenda items that are new to council, that's considered new business that you would discuss and take action on. And then if you could see in the red line, I put names by it because I think there needs to be names next to the agenda items, so you as council know who's sort of responsible for that. Ultimately, I'm responsible for that, but like, for instance, the ground storage tank is a responsibility that falls under Stephen as Public Works. So putting his name by it, who has ownership. Or if you had particular questions on the agenda when the agenda goes out, to let me know or ask specific technical questions to say Stephen regarding that agenda item. Under 10.9 here, I could go either way. It's sort of a council decision on that one. If you want to have standing projects there for, consideration and or updating on ongoing things, that could either be, modified or changed as well. from that standpoint, so I'm kind of open to whatever council wants to do on that section. Citizens comment period, second. I can tell you all the cities we looked at don't have a second period for citizens comments. I know, again, that's been the norm here. A lot of cities just allow for residents, citizens, to speak on individual items instead of having a second citizen comment period. So again, that's something up to council, whether you wanted to keep or stay, keep or remove moving forward, and or modify if you wanted to allow a citizen to speak on a certain agenda item moving forward. And then in the end, you know, we have a change. It's just announcement by mayor and council on, it should just be community interest there. And then we remove all of the items there that were particular programs or groups that a council member would report on. It would just be, you know, anything you wanted to make an announcement on moving forward and then adjourn. So the idea is, again, we're trying to streamline this, clarify a few things. Like I said, mainly in the staff reports, that it's already in the packet, that, you know, if you've reviewed it, you have questions. So I'll open it up to council for any comments. My goal is I'll get with Councilman Artisan, and if I get input from y'all tonight, we can incorporate into this red line and then bring it back. And then in talking to Marissa, that once on her end, because she uses this as a software for the template, that any type of final action of how we structure this agenda, she would work on that over the next couple of months, and then we'd probably bring it back for a new agenda in, say, January or February. So, Mayor, I know you reviewed 13 cities, so.
I did. I've reviewed a lot of agendas, and it was really interesting because I'm only used to this agenda. So it was enlightening to see what some other cities did that we don't do, and things that we do that they don't do. What do y'all think?
No, go ahead, Jim.
Yeah, I've got a bunch of questions
Yeah.
after your talk about this. So on number 4 there, you talk about topics of operational concern shall be directed to the city manager. How do you expect citizens to know whether they should direct that to you or not?
I think it's more of a, I could clarify that from that standpoint, and I think the main thing with the topics of operational concern is again, just clarifying that. If someone comes up and speak, it's sort of my goal. At my last city, I would get up and go meet with them and get their information and let them know that I would look into it, and that that's sort of the role of the city manager to do that under operations. It's just a sort of a wording we've used in my previous city and other cities, that operational concerns usually are addressed to the city manager.
Okay, that makes sense. You're not talking about getting in a dialogue during the citizen comment period
No,
with
no,
someone?
no.
Okay, thank you.
Most of the time, councilman, I just actually caught the citizen after the meeting and got their information. Well, we had their information, but discussed it with them and just let them know I'd follow up with them.
Yeah, I understand. I think you're doing that already, right?
Sure.
Yep, okay.
It's just clarifying, that's all.
When I look at the new number 10 there, you talk about the second citizen comment period could be removed by allowing citizens to speak on individual items. How would that work?
That would be some language that would be put into the citizens' comments that you would structure to say that anyone wishes to speak on a particular item on the agenda can sign up and speak.
So they'd sign up beforehand. So if they
Yes.
saw like the golf cart on the agenda tonight, they could sign up and talk.
They would sign up and put, I'm here to speak on agenda item, what was the golf cart, sorry, 9.8.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's something they do before the meeting, not something that pops up in the
Exactly.
middle of it. Okay. And the last one there on number 11, the announcements by the mayor and comments from the city council members.
Mhm.
It seems really broad to me, and just two concerns with that about, first of all, I don't want Councilmember Reyes filibustering us or something and talking for 45
Yeah.
minutes. And then second of all, aren't there some rules about not bringing up new topics that aren't on the agenda? That seems you could have a conflict here. How are we going to put limits on that?
Yeah, I think the way, and I think when I looked at the red line here, it just should be announcements by mayor and city council on public interest or community interest or something. So you could talk about
it.
like.
So just stuff that's going on, not
yeah.
an opportunity to filibuster from.
Yeah, you could say
Ryan.
Councilman Reyes, he could say, I attended this event the other day, here's what it was about, or just let you know about a future event, those kind of things.
Okay.
Yeah, it's to keep it sort of short. The mayor, like I said, in my last city, would just go around and say, Councilman, do you have anything to add? And they would usually say yes or no at that point, so.
Got it. Thank you.
Just to add on to that, I mean, I think the majority of the comments would likely be about the list that we already have there. But there's some things that aren't on that list, you know, that people may want to speak on, something special they went to, or, you know, some feedback they got on an event, or, you know, those kinds of things. It allows a little more open.
Yeah, that's totally fair. I just didn't want it to be open mic night.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
all.
for
Yeah.
sure, for sure,
It-
for sure.
And Mayor, just one would be number 11, where it says discussion of future agenda items. Now, you know, in the rules of policy that was adopted back in May, there's language in there that says if any council member wants something on the agenda, it just needs to be brought to my attention as city manager 2 weeks ahead of the meeting. So I felt like that's not even necessary. And then if you bring something forward to me, I'm gonna try to work with you to either get the answer or get the staff to help out in that situation and eventually get it on the agenda as your request.
Thanks for all that. I appreciate that. All that being said, I don't understand why we need to wait till January. Seems like something we could do faster, but that's just me.
Well, I would like to get with Councilman Arvidsson and talk to him about it, see if he has any input. Just working with staff to make sure that we're all set on how a new structured agenda would be. Again, Marissa has to go in and change some things on the software for how the template of the agenda's constructed, so.
Come on, man, all the changes you've made, you can't do this one faster?
Any other-
Councilman, I like to say I work fast, so I, you know, but I like to give staff some consideration and then input from another council member, but I can move as fast as you want, council.
I mean, we can have a new agenda ready, probably if he's able to talk to Councilmember Arvidsson. We could have a new format to present to y'all at the next meeting. It's just once y'all act on that and want it in place, it may or may not take me a little while to actually change the template that we use in Civic Clerk. I've never done it before, so I'll have to teach myself how to do it, because when we set Civic Clerk up, we had somebody from Civic Clerk that set up all the templates for us, and that came with the initial project phase, and we paid for that. But they don't continue to do that. It's kind of like a one-time thing. And none of us here know how to do it, and so it may take a while or it may not. I really don't know.
Fair enough.
The only question that I think I have is if we were to reduce the citizen comment period to 1 period, I see that it says limited to 20 minutes total. At 3 minutes, that gives probably 6 or 7 people time to speak. So is there a level of concern about, or what do we do if we have more than 6 or 7 people that want to speak? Do we at that time reduce the amount of time they're able to speak, or do we just not give those people an opportunity to speak at that council meeting?
So from what I understand from other city secretaries, ever since the law went into effect that requires you to have the citizen comment period, is what they've been doing is they don't have a limit on the total amount of time, or if they do, they don't enforce it. And it's based on the number of people that sign up. So I know that City of Austin had 60 people sign up for their citizen comment period one time, and they usually do 3 minutes, and they decided right before the meeting they're gonna give everybody 1 minute. That's reasonable, and they felt that was reasonable. It hasn't been challenged. So I think it's better to base it on the number of people you have sign up and treat everybody the same with the amount of time each person is given, as opposed to the total amount of time you're giving everyone, because then you are really turning people away from speaking.
Understood, thank you.
Anything else?
I'm good with it as long as it's not this tiny.
Yeah,
Tiny,
I'm sorry.
tiny
That's
print.
just how it printed out on a red line. My apologies.
Well, I certainly like the idea of reorganizing everything under new business, so that kind of action is all in one place. And I know that you've spoken with the staff several times about their feelings about staff reports. And I think they've been okay with just submitting the reports and being available to answer questions. As far as that second citizen comment period, I'm on the fence about that one. You know, I am. There's no other cities that do it, none of the 13 that I looked at that do it. I do in turn like the idea of signups for specific agenda items. I think that makes sense, but we'll have to find that balance there, I think. So we got some work to do still. We'll be curious to see what Todd Arvidsson thinks. Okay.
Well, Mayor, Council, like I said, I'll get with Ms. Councilman Arvidsson, and, you know, we'll work on this and then bring it back next month. And if y'all are ready next month, then we'll move forward, you know.
Sounds good.
So I just wanted to say it's something that early on being here, I evaluated it. And, you know, when I first started in Castle Hills, I took a hybrid of 3 different cities and made it to what the current agenda looks like to this day. So it works. But ideally, it's just trying to be more efficient and effective for you all to understand the agenda for staff and to make sure we get the city's business done
Quickly and efficiently. If you want to look at a good agenda, I liked Fair Oaks Ranch the best. That's my top agenda, if you so care to look. Anyway, let's move on to 10, updates, city council projects. One is aggregate production operations impacting Garden Ridge. Just real quickly, Ryan and I continue to work on the change between monitoring services. He's going to be scheduling a meeting with the involved parties to see how that transition is going to go. Mitigation, I also went to an aggregate digital innovations conference, which was kind of interesting in Austin. Lots going on in the industry. Mitigation of gross and encroachment impacts on Garden Ridge. Ryan, can you just talk very briefly about this gas pipeline thing?
Mayor and Council, yes. So there's a pipeline from a company the pipeline apparently is going to be South San Antonio, up I-10, crossing 35, through north side of San Antonio to Helotes. And its ultimate goal is to support CPS Energy for reliability, especially during the winter times. So Monday, we have a meeting with the company, both Stephen and Hank, to determine what sort of their path is. They have a couple options they're looking at. We want to make sure they understand our path for the pipeline for what would be our water to connect with Vista Ridge now. So now that we have an agreement with SAWS, that's already in place. So we know exactly where we're going. So they need to understand where our new connect will be from that standpoint. So it's a matter of just making sure we're all on the same page. There's an easement behind George Ranch that CPS has, the transmission lines. They may be able to use that as well, since there's already an existing easement for utilities. So it's some of the discussion we're gonna have, and like I said, after Monday, I'll know some more information, and I'll relay that to council.
Economic development. Kelly, do you want to chime in?
Yeah, and you just jump in whenever you want. So we've had some great meetings, Zoom meetings. We had our meeting with Retail Coach. We have a monthly Zoom meeting, and you know, we can't give specifics, obviously, but there's a lot of interest here now, and you know, it's that old saying: if you build it, they will come. And I think we've done now laid a great foundation, a more welcoming foundation for some of these developers, and now we have developers that are interested, but then we also have businesses who are just waiting for these developers to do their thing, and they want to come to our city. They want to do business here. So that's very exciting stuff. So, but obviously we want to do it responsibly. We've been talking that for 3 years, It's gotta be done responsibly. We have one chance to do it and do it right and make it awesome. And, yeah, so that's what we're working on, so.
I think that about covers it, but I mean, I think we can all be excited that we do have a solid lead in that pipeline, and we'll know soon. Hopefully it plays out like we want it to, and then we'll be able to share some information. Anything else, Ryan?
No, I'll get with each council member on kind of what's going on right now with it, specifically with the property.
Okay, that sounds great. Brian, outreach and communication efforts between residents and city council.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Yeah, I apologize for I was out last month for sick, but just wanted to let everybody know in the community, spoke with Ryan. We're gonna look at holding the first one the end of this month, Monday, October the 27th at 9:30 here in council chambers. It's gonna start at 9:30 to about 10:30 is what he and I talked about. And was gonna try to get it out by the website, the city website or Facebook as well, so that way the community knows, because it's too late to do it through the newsletter. So
Can you back up 1 second? So what's happening at 9:30? What's the event?
the Coffee with Council.
Okay.
Coffee with Councilman. So yeah, that's what we're going to try to do the first time at the end of this month. So. And I appreciate Ryan's help on it. So.
So I'm sorry, just what is that going to look like? Is it, I mean, we can't have a quorum.
Correct. So I know that, like I had stated the last time when we had talked about this, I knew that I wanted to do this, and it's obviously open to any other council members that want to do this on their own or a different day, but I was looking at this for my schedule on Monday mornings to allow the community the opportunity to meet with their councilman and to just obviously bring up anything of high importance, give them the opportunity to talk to us beyond making these meetings where obviously they can't speak to us, or we talk to them afterwards. So I know some of us have to be somewhere when we're done, but this gives a council person the opportunity to get to know their constituents that they work for, and also to drink, you know, we'll probably have some coffee here for them to have coffee or water. And again, I can't give you the whole full details because this will be the first one, but I can tell you that right off the bat, it's going to be the opportunity for them to have a voice to talk to their council member should they see fit. And the day that I was looking at for my event is going to be on Monday. Without violating TOMA, I think we can have up to 2, I would believe, at that same time, but we're not having it's not going to be like an organized meeting or anything. It's just basically talking with your council member is what I was looking at for this event. So that's it. So
I think what the councilman is referring to is like having sort of these theme coffee with the councilman, and so at different times we can have these series of events with different council members to invite the public for coffee. So I think he just wants to start like the first one, and then you all as other council members can have the same type of meeting, once a month or every couple months or something along those lines. So I think the theme of it is coffee with the councilman, but he wants to do the first one, and then open to individual council members wanting to do the same thing. And I would work with you individually if that's what you wanted to do. I think the first one we talked about, I know you said the chambers, I think we have voting, but we could figure out a place that morning. But I think that's the idea behind it. So I think that's the councilman's idea, to improve that outreach and communication, because of those, by having those individual discussions with residents. So I think does that capture everything? Brian, I think that counts.
yes, that's exactly right. And I remember that we were talking about that there could be early voting in this facility, so we have to figure out something else. But that location would be relayed to the community, so they're aware of where we would be we would be meeting at for that day. So
you're
work in
wanting to talk
progress.
specifics. The reason why you're bringing up TOMA is because you want to talk about specifics, right? Like with people one-on-one, or because I'm trying to, how's it different than First Friday, or we have multiple council members that are,
right.
Coffee with
It's just be what
PD.
you just said. It would just be one-on-one, and just anybody that would like to bring up an issue or something, it'd just be one-on-one. There's no set agenda or anything. So it's just people coming and saying hi.
Yeah.
So
So I guess my point was, it's a great idea. I'm just, what would be the problem with having,
Yeah.
if 3 councilmen having to show up?
Yeah, it's really just community engagement is really what it is.
We have
You
First
can't
Friday,
talk
same thing.
business, but you're not, at First Friday, you're still not allowed to talk business at
Right,
First Friday.
right,
But this would be for talking business.
that's why I
if
say
they have-
more-
yeah,
more
yeah, if they have
directed.
questions about
Okay.
city issues or whatnot.
Yeah, yeah. Cool.
And I think if the councilman, I think what you're also thinking too is if we wanted to have like another councilman can attend. So, if Brian wanted to invite Kendra and say, hey, would you like to come to my meeting? We can talk with residents. And then he can have another one with another council member at a future date. That engages everybody at some point and be able to talk about projects or status things with the city.
Dan, does that get a little tricky?
I would just tell you, whatever you do, 4 of you don't show up.
Right.
Yeah, keep it at 3 and below, preferably 2.
Yeah.
Just to be on the safe side.
Just to note, our charter says 3 is a quorum.
Oh, well, don't let 3 show up. Excuse me, but thank you, Marissa. Well, whatever you do, I'd keep it at 2.
Okay.
Probably,
I say 1, I really do.
well, that's what I was
That's
gonna
the
say.
safest move right there.
Probably the smart thing to do is just, you individually have coffee with the mayor, have coffee with Councilman Reyes, do it that way, and then have the city manager.
That's
come
what I
along,
think, with the city manager.
That he can be there, that if something needs to be done, you can say, okay, Ryan, please take care of this, or let's put this on the agenda.
Right, right.
But,
I'm just envisioning a scenario where I'm with Kendra, and somebody asks about economic development, which I'm working on with Kelly, and I'm just gonna have to decline to speak about that.
And Mayor, I would also tell you, the problem with social media, the problem with these cell phones is that, you may be passionate about something and you start talking about it, and the next thing you know, it's all over social media. And of course, what we don't ever want to do is for any of y'all to be out here making policy on behalf of the city council.
Right.
And so I think you limit it to 1, take Ryan with you.
Yep.
And limit it to about an hour or so.
Right.
But because your real decision-making needs to occur when you're on that dais.
Right, and we've done coffee with the council before, and that was basically the format. It was 1 council member.
And I would just be very,
So-
very careful.
Yeah, I'm more than happy to participate in that as well. I think we'd all like to take a turn at doing that. I just want to make sure that we are
Yeah.
tight and cohesive with our rules,
Yes.
so we don't step into any trouble, any mud. The other thing that I sent you, and I didn't even talk to you about it, I think it'd be nice to have a town hall sometime. Again, I'm not, maybe State of the City in January, something along those lines. I know Seguin is doing something similar right now.
And Mayor, you could post that.
Yes.
And all of you show up, do the 3-day post that the new law requires, and all of you could show up and, and just have a discussion. You could do that.
Okay, yeah, I love that idea as well.
Kind of the state of the city sort of kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, we post it, so then you protect yourself against any text meeting
Right,
violation.
right. So we are actively trying to look at other ways to
Yes.
get citizens involved. Again, First Friday, we've moved that to Raptitude. We're doing a Friendsgiving and Thanksgiving, or in November, a Thanksgiving potluck to see if we can't bring out, a different group of people that maybe doesn't want to be at the park on a Friday in the summer, so we all are working on different ways to engage. So I'm more ideas, the better. So yeah, that'd be great if you get that rolling, Brian. That'd be awesome. Okay, 11, discussion of future agenda items. Again, we've kind of talked about that not being necessary for this agenda at this point. 12, citizen comment period. We have anybody who would like to come to speak? You know the rules. Right, no. You know the rules, name, address, you've got 2 minutes, we can't respond.
Thank you. Sharon Stripling, 21729 Forest Water Circle. The first thing I wanted to say was thank you to Ryan for coming back and responding to concerns that citizens have addressed through the meeting. I really appreciate that. I also want to tell Brian Reyes and Ryan, thank you for coming to our neighborhood association meeting. It was fabulous. We might not have had a great turnout at the meeting, but everybody really appreciated it, and they updated us on a lot of things going on in the city, and people were allowed to ask questions, which is sort of what I think Brian's trying to get to. So this might be me on one side not knowing. Is the agenda for the meetings posted ahead of time? Okay, and I guess I didn't go look at it. I don't know where it is. But if we're going to eliminate, a lot of times, like I would have not known with what Ryan just addressed, because I used to work with the board of directors for quite a while, and not knowing I didn't see the agenda changes he was proposing, so I don't know if that's something that was posted too. I wouldn't have been able to make a comment about that, not being able to see some things ahead of time. So I don't know what all is allowed to be posted ahead of time, but I'll have to get better about going and looking for the agenda, because sometimes I show up here about 10 minutes ahead and I've got to scan the agenda so I can sign up to talk on the front side. So that would be a comment I'd make if you think it's something that is going to be, they really want to talk about, to maybe put out there but then you're putting out what you're proposing, and I don't know if y'all are allowed to do that or not. So that's just a few comments I have about that. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? We're good? Okay, on to 13, reports and comments from mayor and city council members. Anybody have anything?
Chamber stuff. Oh, go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, I just got Comal ISD stuff. First of all, Wolf Fest is going to be next month at Garden Ridge parking lot across the street. They're going to hold it November the 15th from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. It's a great event. It's a great fundraiser. I usually take my kids there every year. I'm sure some of us that have kids in elementary probably go there as well. They have bounce houses, games, face painting, a petting zoo, and more. It's a great event. I just wanted to let the community know about that next month. Also, just to let everybody know, this month there's a lot of appreciation months for this month. October the 2nd, tomorrow, is National Custodian Appreciation Day. National Coaches Appreciation Day with the district is October the 6th. And of course, October is National Principals Month. And then two other things on events. Danville Orchestra has a fall concert October the 9th at the Davenport High School at 6:30. And then, of course, I'm sure some of y'all may have, we're going to mention this, but I hope I didn't steal y'all's thunder. The Run with the Wolves, October the 11th. That's my son's birthday at the Davenport High School at 9 a.m. It's a great fundraiser for the middle school and the high school. The PTA say they join the forces for a 6th year to host the annual Run with the Wolves 5K and 1 mile Wolf Pup Fun Run. That's all I have, Mayor. There's no questions. Thank you.
I can add a couple other things to Comal ISD. I was invited to speak on 9/11 up at the high school. The junior ROTC did a great job managing that entire event. We also hosted the Essential Academics class. That was about 15 kids from Davenport High School that came and visited with myself and the police department. They came up to City Hall. They got a chance to talk in all of the microphones. It was a great time on those. So anything else? I got a bunch of stuff, but none that we need to go through.
It's Chamber of Commerce. Guys, mark this one in your calendar. Hold on, I'm going through a text here. Hold on. All right, if anybody needs to go ahead. Can't find the date here.
Anyone else? My goal is to end at 8 o'clock at 7:59. Kelly.
November, okay, so yeah, November 12th. I had written it down. It's written it down wrong. It's November 12th is the annual elected officials for Trico Chamber. Guys, this is a great one. Please put this in your calendar and show up. You know, this, you know, a lot of times we get, you know, we get a lot of flack for not being a lot of stuff regionally out here. So this is a great one to be at. It's a very relaxed atmosphere. It's at Blue Bonnet Palace. And you're looking at 6 to 9 p.m. I think it's Tuesday, right? Is it November? Okay. Yeah, I guess so. It's usually a week directly after this election. So, and then there's a number of road run cuttings. I'll just send the info to Ryan, and he can distribute it to everybody. But we've got a bunch of, you know, like in Cibolo, the new Chick-fil-A, to be determined. So they haven't released the date yet. And that's all stopped there. And then we have Dick's House of Sports. It's not Dick's Sporting Goods, but Dick's House of Sports is opening in Cibolo as well. So that's all I have.
Anyone else? No, we're good. Then let's move on to 14, adjournment. There being no further business, the city council regular meeting is adjourned at 8:01 p.m.